Today we've got butter hacks, tips and tricks that will take your cooking to the next level. One of the ways we use butter in the professional kitchen is that we butter baste things. It adds flavor, but it's also gonna add this nice crusty texture on the top of our steak. So you can see we cooked the steak on high heat to start that browning process. Now, I'm gonna lower my heat down just a little to like a medium heat. I don't want my butter to burn. Now we want to add that nice golden crust. I'm gonna take some nice knobs of butter. Don't be shy with this, okay? We want to add enough butter so that we can actually coat the steak. A couple of sprigs of thyme. You can use rosemary, you can use whatever aromatic that you like. And then I have a little garlic. Just gonna give that a light smash. Don't worry about the peel. This is for flavor. We're not gonna serve this with the steak. Now as my butter starts to brown and I start to get those really nice nutty flavors, I'm just gonna take the butter, I'm gonna start spooning it over the top of my steak. As the butter browns, it's gonna help the steak get a nice crust on the outside. There we go. If you ever wanna get people hungry, this is the way to do it. Baste your steak with butter, herbs, and garlic. You can do this with pork chops, fish, seafood, chicken. Butter basting works for all of these things. I'm gonna stop basting once I see that I'm getting the crustiness that I really want. Look at this steak. It is absolutely gorgeous. It has a beautiful crust. So our steak is rested. It is time to slice. I'm gonna take off the bone. There's a bone-in ribeye. It has a beautiful crunchy crust to it. That butter, that garlic, that thyme is going to add to our flavor. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of sea salt, a little more fresh thyme. You can see that we have that beautiful crust on the outside. Let's give it a taste. It's crusty, salty, it's caramelized on the outside. The meat is super tender. You can taste the butteriness, but it doesn't overshadow the steak. If you haven't done it, give it a try. You're gonna send me thank you letters. One of the ultimate butter hacks is browning your butter. Butter is made of two things, butter fat, butter solids. Brown those butter solids, it'll take everything to the next level. I'm gonna start out on kind of a medium heat, and I'm gonna add my butter to the pot. Brown butter is one of those things that adds a ton of complexity to a lot of different dishes. If you put brown butter in cookies or cakes, you're gonna have a deeper kind of roasty flavor, more richness. This is one of those things that you can actually prep ahead. You can put it in the fridge or the freezer. It lasts a long time. Once my butter melts, I'm just gonna put the whisk in there on medium heat. What happens when you're melting the butter is the solids start to sink down to the bottom, and using that whisk kind of keeps them suspended in the butter so they brown more evenly and they don't just stick to the bottom and brown on the bottom of the pan. So whisk it while it cooks. You'll see that it's starting to bubble. And what's happening now is our milk solids are separating out from our butter fat. And basically that's what's gonna get brown. The milk solids in our butter are going to brown. So if you look right here, the milk solids are starting to stick to the bottom of the pot. And this is the clear yellow butter. So at this point, if I wanted ghee or clarified butter, I would stop. Those milk solids sinking to the bottom, they can stay in the pan, and that clear yellow fat on top will be your clarified butter. Brown butter can have different stages as well. You can start off with a very light brown butter to a very dark brown butter. I like mine to be kind of on the hazelnut side, and that's pretty much where I would stop right now. So you can see that our butter is nice and toasty. The milk solids have gone nice and brown. This is what our brown butter looks like outside of the pot. The butter has a nice nutty color, and then some of the solids on the bottom have gotten nice and roasty and toasty. I use it in sauces, baked goods, adds so much dimension to your food. This will definitely bump up your cooking game. One of the amazing uses for brown butter is a magic shell for your ice cream cone. So that brown butter is gonna harden instantly and make a really nice shell for our ice cream. Look at that, that's delicious. Let me get in there. It's a nice, smooth, nutty, buttery shell. That beautiful creamy vanilla ice cream complements each other. You can use this on hard ice cream at home as well. Just sprinkle it over the top. And to people who say butter on ice cream is too much, you only live once, be too much. One of the things when I worked in restaurants that I used a lot of were compound butters. And compound butters sound crazy and difficult, but basically it's just a butter with flavoring in it. With a compound butter, you want to start out with softened butter. What's cool about compound butters is that you can go wild. It could be sweet, it could be savory. A lot of times chefs will use herbs or capers or anchovies. I have a mixture of garlic, sesame seeds, and Korean chili flakes. I have a little bit of paprika and some honey. And we're just gonna mix this together into a nice even color so that everything's distributed through the butter. I can use it at this stage. It's warm, it is spreadable. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna slather it onto my corn. The hot honey butter is gonna be a sweet and spicy complement to that delicious ear of corn. With compound butters, you could do whatever you imagine. Have fun with it. If there's a flavor you like, throw it into some warm butter. See how it comes out. I have a lot of this butter left over. This is how I like to store it. So I'm gonna take a piece of parchment paper, and I use parchment paper in my house. If you don't have it, you can use plastic wrap. And I'm gonna take my butter, and I'm gonna put a mound of it, kind of just a little off center to the front of my paper. And this is something that I was taught in culinary school years ago. You take this, you fold it over the top. So I'm gonna hold the bottom piece of parchment, use the edge of the tray, give this a little push, and it forms into a cylinder. And then I'm gonna roll it up, and then twist my edges opposite directions. You can put this in the fridge or the freezer, and you can take a slice off anytime you need it. My compound butter is cold and firm. I'm just gonna cut off the end, and then I take slices, unwrap it. It will last months in the fridge and even longer in the freezer. Delicious, comes in handy in a pinch too. One of the ways I use butter in the kitchen is to actually thicken sauces. For Thanksgiving, your gravy is too thin. Using a little softened butter and flour in a pinch, it's a great way to thicken your sauces. So I have a little bit of gravy here, and it's super liquidy. So I want to thicken that up. And what I'm going to use is what the French call a beurre-manie, which is basically just equal parts butter, and we're going to add flour and make kind of like a paste. Beurre-manie just basically means kneaded butter. Not only does this help thicken our sauces, it's also going to add some of that really nice buttery richness. I'm going to take some of my beurre-manie and I'm going to whisk it into my gravy. Look at this gravy now. It's gone from like liquidy to nice and smooth and creamy. Depending on your preference, you can add more or less of the beurre-manie. Test it on the back of a spoon. If it leaves a line and that line doesn't close up, you know that it's thick enough. Beurre-manie can be used for gravies, soups, any sauce that you have that needs to be tightened up a little. It's a super versatile thing to have in your kitchen arsenal. If I give you one tip, it's gonna be this. Use butter in your sauces. I have a little bit of vodka sauce here and some pasta, and this sauce is perfectly good the way it is. But if I ever want to get it to that next level, what I would do is add a couple of knobs of butter, maybe like 3 knobs of butter, and I'm just gonna stir this into my sauce. It's gonna round out my sauce. If it has any sharp flavors, like maybe the tomatoes are a little too acidic, this is something we do in restaurants all the time with sauces for meat, fish, pasta. There's always a pat of butter somewhere. See how the sauce sticks to our pasta really nice? It's glossy, it's delicious. A little bit of parm on top, and we're good to go. So the pasta gets super glossy, super delicious, and this is how we finish our sauces in restaurants. A little bit of butter goes a long way. If you want butter that spreads really easily and tastes great, I like to use whipped butter. Whipped butter is one of these things that has more air in it, so it melts a little bit quicker. I got a big stack of flapjacks here. Don't be shy with the butter, because butter makes your pancakes better. And I know that seems ridiculous, but be ridiculous with your whipped butter. And this is why I love whipped butter. It's light, it's fluffy, it's airy. Look at the meltiness on that. Syrup, butter. Who does not want to eat these pancakes now? Use whipped butter on your breakfast foods. Use it for pretty much everything. You're never going to be sorry. Everyone's been there. They need softened butter for a recipe, and all they have is hard butter out of the fridge. This is my favorite hack. This is something I do all the time. So what I do with the butter is I will unwrap it, put it onto a plate, put it into a microwave. Go about 5 to 10 seconds at a time on high power. The key here is to go small bursts, not go the whole 20, 30 seconds at a time. If you do that, you're gonna have a puddle of melted butter. So that was about 20 seconds. Look at it. Pliable, soft, ready to make those cookies. 20 seconds. Another trick for softening butter quickly is the warm or hot glass trick. I have my stick of butter. I peel it, put it on a plate. I have a glass of hot water here. I'm gonna dump the water out. Just shake, 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 and then put it on top. Having the glass hot creates a nice warm atmosphere for a butter to soften and not melt. In about 10, maybe 15 minutes, you'll have really nice softened butter. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's take the glass off. Oh yeah, look, not hard, nice and soft and pliable, ready for baking. Next butter softening hack is using a box grater. Get a box grater with large holes. My butter is nice and cold. It can be frozen. If you have frozen butter, this works for that as well. Peel your butter. The way that I like to grate is on the side. I don't really stand it up. Push your butter through. You're creating a lot of surface area on the butter, making it get soft really quickly. Whenever you have to cut butter into flour, you're making biscuits or you're making pie dough, this is a perfect thing for that too. So instead of cutting in little bits of butter, grate it, your little bits of butter are there already. Our final butter softening hack is pounding it thin. More surface area means warmer faster. I have 2 sheets of parchment paper. This is a really great method for getting your butter room temperature, for also though, pounding your butter into a slab. You'll see pastry chefs do this all the time because sometimes when they're making something like a croissant or a puff pastry, they need slabs of butter. So the butter is in between our parchment, and basically what you do is you get a rolling pin and you're just gonna hit it. There you go. Softens it super quickly, makes it really pliable, ready to go. One more hack that I like to use is the wrapper of my butter. Butter wrappers always have a little residual butter on the outside. Don't throw them away, save them. Use that butter and grease the inside of your pan or muffin tin. Don't throw it away. It has butter on it. Use it all. For sandwiches, I like to butter my bread. It's not so common in the States. Normally we use mayonnaise for this, but sometimes mayonnaise can actually make your sandwich a little soggy. The butter is a little rain jacket for our bread. It stops our sandwich from getting soggy. The French do a camembert, that's a ham sandwich, butter on it on a baguette. In the UK, like this, it's a tea sandwich. Then we take this, put it on top, give it a little squishy. Nothing worse than a soggy sandwich, so put a little butter on there next time. It's just gonna make them better. Butter makes everything better. If you ever wanna have a fun way of presenting butter at your table, if you have guests over, some restaurants will take the butter and pipe it into rosettes or little roses. All you really gotta do is get some butter, have it really soft, and you press it down into your mold, pushing it in onto the sides and down into the design. And then you can just swipe it off the top. This works really well for Thanksgiving, dinner parties. Look how easy they pop out. These silicone molds are amazing. Take a second to clean up any rough edges. A little bit of coarse salt, and you have a beautiful butter rosette with almost no effort. These hacks save you time, money, energy, stress. Give them a try, and I promise you, you'll be a better cook for it. If you have any kitchen tips or tricks, please put them in the comments. I always like to read what you guys have to say.